Welcome to Beyond the Cart. I'm your host, Kyle Hamer, and this episode of Beyond the Cart, I'm super pumped about because we have a special guest, Chris Dennert, and he's got a pretty crazy story. A lot of cool stuff. We were just kind of chatting off air, but really, literally took the most niche product idea that I've seen probably in a while and just crushed it. Like, and we'll get into the details on it, but there's a lot of pretty cool takeaways that I think that we'll be able to glean from his wisdom and his experience. So I'm pumped to have him on the show. So Chris, I want to welcome you to Beyond the Cart, and we're excited to have you, man.
What's happening? Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man.
Oh, this is cool. So, like I mentioned, like super niche product with Dugout, and so dugoutmugs.com. Shout out to your product. I Before we dive into like some of that journey, just tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get to where you're at now, working with such a cool, unique product, and tell us a little about your story.
Uh, you know, I'm pretty unemployable. I think is really kind of the the pinnacle of it all. Like, I back in God, it was like 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. I was opening gyms, and I was really creative on how I generated sales and brought people in. And I used this new website called Facebook, starting about 2006, 7, right? And really what it did, I just figured out ways to communicate with people, right? And whether it was gamification, interaction, I mean, I just live outside the box. And it's served me over several years and several different businesses. Dugout is actually my ninth company that I've either founded, partnered with, and scaled. And what really happened is 2015, I got super sick, and we didn't even talk about this actually, but that's what happened. And I was busy chasing money and chasing success and all these things, and I got sick. And when you're laying there in a hospital bed and you got a 1 in 3 chance of not walking out of there, you kind of start reevaluating some things. And I started defining new metrics in life, and literally from that room, what am I going to focus on? What am I about? What am I not about? And you say a few prayers and throw some things out there, and what's going to come my way. And I got a phone call one day, this guy Randall, who created a mug, and it was made from a baseball bat barrel. And I was super weird, but I'm super weird. And I was like, okay, and some of my background with print on demand apparel, if there's e-com people all over this call, I'm sure some of them know Teespring and some of these groups, right? And I had an agency, and I ran, social media management, and I still have my consulting company. And it's just all these things just kind of came together. And what I do is I try to find projects and products that resonate with who I am, where I'm going. Can I play with my friends? Is it experiential? Can I leverage my network and have a really good network? And if these boxes are checked, well, hey man, let's play ball, pun intended. And this came to me in 2016. We inked a deal 2017, and $60 million in sales later. Kind of crazy, 3 years in a row, Inc. 5,000, World News Tonight with David Muir a couple times, Fox and Friends Live in New York a few times, The View a couple times, CBS Morning, Forbes Entrepreneur covers. Like, it's crazy, man. It's just, and all I do, I sell cups. At the end of the day, that's what I do. Yeah. I sell cups, and I built a pretty damn cool lifestyle by design around a brand that kind of reflects me.
I love that. So it sounds like you got a lot of like PR. Was that intentionally? Like you went out and were like working that angle on the PR side, or did it just happen sort of more organically?
Yes to all. I mean, the reality is, because let's be honest, teaching somebody how to drink out of a baseball bat, there's education involved, and e-com focused, right? Like there's a lot of cost in education when you're doing an e-com product, especially a unique one. I own a golf company as well. People know what a golf ball is. They know what the hell to do with a golf ball. You don't have to teach a lot, right? Just nerd out on a few of the stats on the ball, and that usually sells itself. But with this other one, yeah, I needed the PR, and I needed to leverage my network, and I needed to dig into these pockets of people,
Yeah.
and and we'll talk about stats and data, which is super important. But once we identified who our target audience, who our buyer, who's our home, who's our avatar, then you can start reverse engineering where you want to be. So if a female between the age of 35 and 55 is my primary buyer of my product, well, I don't really need to be, having celebrities and athletes. I'd rather have like Rachel Ray and Oprah and,
Yeah, for sure.
Fox Friends and World News Tonight, because that's where our people are.
No, that makes a ton of sense. No, I love it. So one of the things, let's dive into a little bit. So we talked about sort of, well, you hit on it. You touched on metrics. You touched on sort of your clicks, conversions, engagement to like, there's a story that you're kind of outlining with that. So tell us a little about how you kind of viewed that process. Because when we think about metrics, we think of stuff that's very sort of linear. Like I have all my acronyms, right? But I think that there's more that you kind of were unpacking a little bit about that. And I'd love to hear sort of your take on that process of thinking about going from clicks to revenue and like how you thought about it with Dugout.
Well, there's always going to be a breakdown. Like clicks are one thing. Clicks are one thing. Revenue, like if you have a crappy product and a crappy flow and shitty customer service, like it's not going to do anything, right? You can have all the clicks in the world.
You're going to spend a lot of money.
Right. Come on, man. If your funnel's got nothing, looks like it's shot with a shotgun, like it's not going to do you any good to get the clicks.
Exactly.
But if we're going to start at the top of the funnel, let's talk about the clicks. Well, it's a really noisy world, right? It's a really noisy. I mean, pick your poison online, politics or anything they're blabbing about, right? You got to cut through that. Most people aren't even paying attention because it's just banner blindness. So the hooks on the videos, really unique stuff. Like we've run over mugs with a car, right? And that's the first clip. A mug slamming down and beer flying out. That'll stop somebody. We ran ads. One of the really fun ones I wanted to try, because like I told you, I'm so far outside the box, like I don't even know what it looks like anymore. We would run videos upside down. And you want to catch somebody's attention, pour a beer upside down. But it was like, hey, and the clowns out there, the trolls are like, oh, your video's upside down. It's like, thanks for commenting, algorithmically. Like, But
please say more. Please say more, clowns.
Tell me more about your opinion. Yeah,
exactly.
But no, the reality it was like, I bet you wonder why we're running upside down ads. Well, that's because we do things different, like turn bats into mugs, right? There's something I said all the way back in the day when I was running. I won't name them, right? Because it's irrelevant, but they're very recognizable, reputable names in and around the real estate and coaching and guru world. And I was running their social media. And this is back when social media was kind of Wild West-ish. And I always said post with purpose, right? Like don't just post to post, right? Because I mean, now from an algorithm standpoint, I get it, right? The consistency. But what I was talking about is always have a purpose behind why you're posting and what you're doing. On purpose, you're doing typos there, and there, right? Like you can, because then the grammar police show up, but you're doing it because then they're commenting and now you get more impressions and then you get the thing and then you go in and edit it after the fact, hide those, you know what I mean? Like it's all there. One of my favorite ones to do was not controversial, but engagement, like the gamification side of things. I would post and find the 5 things wrong with this, or one of my favorites. It was so easy. It was just comment, like, who can come up with the best caption for this ridiculous picture? Well, what that does, everybody's commenting underneath, and you know what I mean. And then you go back in and you're like, hey, John, you won. You send me your email, I'll send you a thing, but what you got. So it's posting with purpose was a big piece of that. And that all comes back to clicks, commanding the eyes. And I did a lot of that with gamification, giveaways, contests, anything challenging, because people are just bored, man. And the engagement side of things can be really influenced if you're playing with people. Now our product is really cool, fun, and sexy, right? So that helps. It's not insurance.
That does help for sure.
So doing get creatives on the front end, and even now with AI. We did some stuff where Frosty was melting in front of a fireplace holding a dugout mug. You can get creative now with AI. So there's really no excuse other than just being lazy or not asking the right questions.
Yeah, no, that's that's cool. I've even seen now where, like, you talked about putting typos in, even with a lot of AI content creation, like email marketing. I've actually seen it now where, like, AI agents will actually be adding in. It's okay to add in a couple of typos into your copy just to make it look like it's not like AI generated. But it's, forcing people to actually, oh, there's an error here, right? And you have some level of engagement or thought. I think
it's almost like it's recycled from back in the day with email marketing. The forward. FW colon, and then like whatever the subject line is, or you have your assistant message you, hey, are we going to run this for one more day? And then the line, and you just forward it out to everybody. Hey, they asked if we're going to do it. I didn't even reply. I just sent it out. Our email list, we have over a 50% open rate on our email list, and we have like 850,000 people on it. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, that's awesome. That's very, very cool. Yeah, and it's just about doing stuff that is exactly like you said, is just thinking outside the box, and but also being on brand, right? Because if your brand is already outside the box, then it's totally fine. I think that is I think that's super interesting.
Well, there's a saying I heard a long time ago. Y'all probably know where it came from, but if it looks like marketing, it's safe to ignore. Have you heard that?
Damn, I've heard it. I don't remember who said it though, but I have.
They're on point. Because if it looks like marketing, it's safe to ignore. And that's it's perfect for like LinkedIn. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn watching this. Like, God, don't be the people that like connect and then you have that giant spam auto reply. So I had success with that because of what I said, right? And it was just so organic, and they wouldn't know if they were talking to me or an AI bot or anything, because it was the same damn thing, like what they got. And man, I'm telling you. I think people are lazy. It's a big number. It used to be just a numbers game, but now people aren't as naive as they once were. You know what I mean? And I think, I think the creative, that's all the way back to the first question, dude, the clicks. Be different, stand out. You know who my favorite, and I love giving Jesse props, the guy with the Savannah bananas. What a great job. Dude, stop standing still, stop standing out. Like, Jesse, props to you if you ever see this, my man. And he's a good dude. But what they're doing, that's the point. Like, that, if you want to encompass this into like one image, it's what they're doing, right? They're unique, they're different, they're fresh, and I think not
intentionally unique. Actually bucking this is what MLB does. We're going to do the exact opposite, even if it's inconvenient. Like, MLB has to do it the way that they do it because of size and scope, and they have the brand and history, the nostalgia, the history. But they're like, we can literally dance our team into the stadium with a party, tailgate with our fans, and just completely rewrite the rules. And it just with intentionality, I think is so smart and just way outside the box. I love it. So let's pivot a little bit. We talked about, obviously getting clicks, then getting conversions and getting that engagement, all kind of wraps about to thinking outside the box, right? Obviously have a product that's engaging, and then think, how do you communicate that a little bit more in an engaging fashion. But let's talk about sort of how you did that a little bit more under like gamification. You mentioned it kind of pre-live. Talk about how you use gamification in even that process of going from click to revenue or conversion.
I would say gamification, do yourself a favor and just look it up, right? Nobody's here to give anybody the magic bullet, right? So forget that. But go look it up and see what it is. And YouTube's got tremendous examples of it. One of my favorite was it was like over in Asia somewhere, and everybody was going up and down the escalator. And then overnight, they turned the stairs into a piano, and then they had the same thing, and like half the people went down the stairs that day because it made noise, right? It's this thing that's like in us since we're like kids, man, where we just want to have fun and like just be engaged a little bit more instead of just being zoned out going through life. And where it where I really kicked off gamification is I had the biggest page in the world for like Duck Dynasty, Uncle Si from Duck Dynasty. Back when I was
Dude,
doing
love Uncle Si.
I can't turn my computer around, but there's a picture of me and him and my wife right here on my wall for his 60th or 50th wedding anniversary to his wife. We're at his house and like the whole thing.
Love
and
it.
the magazine that we were in because of it. Anyway, it was then. And what I did, so I was growing my page faster than he could. And mine was just a fan page. You know, back in the day when we would just make fan pages for a topic and then everybody would go to the fan page, it's significantly more engaging. And what I did is I started so I was selling t-shirts. That's back when I was doing the print on demand Teespring t-shirts and all that. I wanted their eyes on what I was selling. Again, post with purpose. I was going live with a shirt at 5, let's say. And what I would do is I would post a cartoon duck. And I was like, you got to shoot the duck. When you see because they're duck hunters, right? So when you see the duck, shoot the duck and you say bang. That's how you shoot the duck. So imagine getting 10 comments a second when this duck goes live. So what I would do is I would tell people like, hey, the duck's about to go live at 4:55. Have your guns ready. Right. So then right before I would drop the shirt. So I have everybody's eyes engaged and ready and waiting. And I would drop this shirt and just crush and just printing money, like literally tens of thousands of dollars in just a day, 2 days, just printing money. And then we would post a duck and everybody, thousands of comments, bang, 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 bang. And all I would do is I just go in, or my assistant did, just randomly just go pick one and say, hey, dude, you won. And then you send them like some tchotchke package. It cost me like $20 off of Amazon or eBay. And it was the best. It was the best. And we would do that every single week. And then there was the auto like messenger bots that they're probably still out there. If Facebook or Meta hasn't shut them down, but what we would do is tell the same thing, like post a picture of something funny and the best, again, understand caption. Where my brain was posting with purpose. That's important, especially with this. So what I would do is I would post this thing and say, hey, whoever has the best caption by midnight wins an autographed stupid thing from the side. That cost me like $100, let's say. But what happens is I'll get tons of comments underneath this thing. Then what do? They send it, and the winner's chosen by whichever comment has the most likes on it. So now they send it to all their people, which grow my page, grow the engagement, comments, likes. Oh my God, it was beautiful and simple. Like if you understand what you're trying to do, you'll be surprised how often it can be simple. And this game was simple. And what happened is then once I had thousands of comments, I would turn on this bot and said, hey, Jack, because that's what we called everybody on the show. It's like, hey, Jack, thanks for playing. Here's 50% off this T-shirt that just dropped. And we would just print extra money. And this bot would just run around the clock. 200, 400 a day or something. So let the damn thing run for a week. We make another $10,000, but it was all a game, right? To everybody, but not to me. I was doing it very, very purposefully. What I was doing, why I was doing it, when I was doing it, things like that.
Dude, that's cool. How have you used gamification with Dugout? Have you tried to implement that kind of stuff?
Because I knew you were going to ask that, I'll show you like Will Clark. Remember Will Clark played for the Giants and a few other teams? Yeah. So I had Will sign a bunch of rookie cards. He autographs them all.
Oh, sweet.
So I did a limited run with Will right here. Nice. He signed mugs and he signed balls and he signed rookie cards. Cause I'm a big baseball card guy. So like, why not? Yep. And so what we do now is we went live with Will. Unfortunately, it took him forever to get this stuff back to me. So we missed the mark with Christmas, but we're going to roll it out in Q1 where every fifth order or something like that, we're going to surprise them with an autographed item instead.
Yeah.
They want to buy it anyway. They're going to get it. And 1 in 5 people get an autographed thing. I guarantee you, because it happens I did it with Jose Canseco. I did it with Pete Rose. I did it with Mariano Rivera, Pudge Rodriguez. Like I work with all these guys. I'm blessed. Right. But people are going to go in and buy 5 of something just to get one.
For sure.
Right. So now we're doing $200-$300 orders of stuff that I don't know, man. It's if people want to win, I mean,
Yeah.
look online. Everybody's talking about everybody losing. You know, it's so negative. And
Right.
to hell with negativity, man. I can't stand it. So I
Agreed.
try to do fun, cool, creative things. And because I have access to the players, and because we do things that are very fans first and engaging, you know, that's how we do it with Dugout.
That's cool.
Another one I did with an email campaign. This was kind of fun. I sent out an email. You'll love this because you did email, right? So I sent this out and it had 4 lockers: locker 1, locker 2, locker 3, locker 4. And there's 4 different discount codes, 10, 20, 30, 40, or something like that underneath the lockers. And it say, win between 10 and 40% off, pick a locker. And smart people would click all 4 and take longer to get to the thing. Well, this is only 10%. Let me go click locker 2. That's 20. Let me click locker 4, like that. Dude, I can tell you that probably a third of the sales were on the lower end of the discounts. Yeah. They bought just because they got to engage. And dude, it crushed. It crushed. And the subject line was yo, because that best, open rate on yo.
Best open rate with yo. It's like the highest performing subject line of all time.
Yeah. If you didn't know that, you do now. So and again, you want to talk about being on brand?
Yeah.
Come on. Like yo or what's up? Like that's so on brand for us. And then you got right into it, said, look, I'm busy, you're busy. I'm not going to waste your time. You got 4 lockers, you're about to get hooked up. Pick your locker, get your prize, and swig for the fences, right? Like that could be literally our whole email. There's these copywriters that'll charge you out the ass for whatever they're going to come up with. Yeah. I believe that we're in a world of transparency and authenticity and organic communication. I mean, why would I show up to this with a backwards hat on? Because that's who I am. I see guys in here commenting. I've been on their podcast too. This is what you get. And when you don't have to remember who you're supposed to pretend to be that time, and fans dig it. And when we go on, we would go live and like, hey, we screwed up. Here's what happened. Right. And just the transparency and the authenticity, people eat it up, man.
That's because I think they end up engaging with so much just absurd fakeness on social media as a whole. Everything's polished. Everything's like, ooh, this is the persona that I want to have the world see. There's just a lack of authenticity across the board.
It's shame. It's damn shame.
And it is a shame. It is a shame. And but it's also crazy because not only does it give this sort of false narrative of people, but then they're also like, hey, I rented this Airbnb and I rented this Lambo and I'm in Miami and I'm doing my videos and I'm posting my stuff, but they rented everything. It's not even real, right? But then it causes this idea of like, oh, well, I need to have that too, right? And so then there's this sense of not being, happy with where they're what they're currently at, and they're just kind of always kind of just living life through somebody else's lens when they have the power to go change their day that day, make some choices to impact their tomorrow. So I get started on this rant.
Well, I go, dude, that's a rabbit hole. You watch out.
Yeah,
we won't hit another bullet point for the rest of this show.
I guarantee it, dude.
100%. Well, I mean, I think success is unique, right? We talked about this briefly, but I think success is very unique. I love aspects of what Jesse is doing. I love aspects of what Gary Vee is doing. I love aspects of
for sure
Elon, and I love aspects of Grant, well, fewer, but Grant Cardone. And like, you know what I mean? Like my path is different than the next person's path. So to measure your success with somebody else's ruler is foolish. Right.
Yep, for sure.
And that's a lot of what you're talking about there.
Yep.
And so I tell people reflect, if anybody that's seen me anywhere, it's probably sound like a broken down record by now, but it's reflect. What does your journey of success look like? What, and then you reverse engineer and you build your business around that.
For sure. Yeah. I love it. And I kind of tell people too, it's like, oftentimes a business is like an iceberg, man. You only see the part that's above the water when like 80% of it's below it, and you have no idea what it took to get that business to where it needed to be or where it's at today. Like, it's like an overnight success that took a decade or 20 years in the making, and people grinding it through. So 100% that would be
or
the
if
case.
It's hollow, there's a lot of
For sure. For sure. If it's like just
facade.
that facade, that social media facade, right? That's associated with that. I want to circle back to something we talked about, pre-show off the air, and that was metrics. We talked about like metrics being, like obviously you have LTV and CAC and all those fun things you do, but metrics that drive revenue. I want to dive in a little bit deeper because you mentioned something is like I build my metrics not around so much around like the KPIs that are classic, but around the idea of like how's this business serve my life? Do I get to have fun as a metric? Talk a little bit about that. Yeah, let's unpack that.
Well, then get away from metrics and call it currency, right?
Yeah,
I love the topic of currency, and currency can be several things to different people. To me, time is a currency. Experiential living is a currency. Fun is a huge currency. And I've built the business, I bought my partner out a couple of years ago, right? I've been running with this thing, and the financial side of it has not been where I wanted it by a long shot. However, these other currencies are everywhere. These other bank accounts, if you will, have been filling up at record speeds. The fun, the freedom, the levels of authenticity, the product development. It's very liberating to have freedom in a lot of ways. And I look at currency very different. With so many people just judge something by its ability to make or lose money. I've made a lot of money in my life, and I've hated it sometimes, and I've hated the people sometimes. And I remember when I was sick, I was laying there on that bed. I was like, I'll be damned if I'm going to die and let you think I like you. I made a couple phone calls and I advised people otherwise. And, life is short, time's short, when people prioritize dollars, they don't even just print them. They're not even attached to anything, dude. Like, come on. That's the guiding light. That's the North Star. I don't play that in my world, right?
For sure.
My network is extremely valuable. My
100%.
experiences, my fun, my family, right? Like, I'm surprised. I got 2 young kids. I'm surprised they're that quiet for this long, right? Because we're probably going to go down and do a movie night and probably play some board games, and just the ability to do that. Those are the metrics that matter to me. Now, if we want to nerd out about KPIs and acronyms, we certainly can do that. And I think one of the most common ones that people overlook is the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer. People are very short-sighted.
For sure.
I spent $40 acquiring a customer, and my COGS are 40 and I lost $11, right? Like, I look way back at Survival Life. Who was that? Perry Belcher and maybe Roland, or I don't know.
Ryan Dice.
Was it Ryan? Yeah, the credit card knife.
Dude, I bought that credit card knife.
Who didn't? I know. I sold a bunch of them. Like, because I got some and all this shit, man. I was launching these. I was just cranking them out. I think you made like $15 per one that you sold, and they were just a net loss every time they sold one. They were
every net loss. Yeah, that was a fun funnel breakdown, because the whole upsell process that was in there, like, it was a master class on how you stack value in somebody who gets to that one purchase. But I also lost a few of those credit card knives in going through the airport and forgetting those in my wallet, and they're like, oh man, there that one goes.
Yeah, I know. I can get another one for free.
I know, right?
I mean, so I don't have one on my desk. Damn. So we have coasters. Well, I have these coasters. So, like, one of the things we do is we make home plate coasters, right? Little wooden home plate coasters. Nice. But I have a cork coaster, and my cost of goods on these cork coasters, printed with MLB royalty and everything, is like sub $250, right?
Nice.
And we normally sell them for like, I don't know, $10, right? It's a great margin. Sure. But what you do is you give them away for free. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're light, they're cheap to ship, like a bubble envelope out the door. I'm out the door $4, right? So I'm acquiring a customer. I get to identify which team they like, or buy gifts for people who like that team, right? So categorically, I know where they're going, and I understand that within 90 days, because there's 4 very clear buying seasons in my world. right? The Mother's Day, Father's Day, playoffs, Black Friday, and then Christmas. So what we do historically, Q1, it's a data acquisition program where we give away value. And again, there's another saying I love: if you can't sell it, don't give it away. Like nobody needs more shit. If you can't sell it, don't give it away. Right.
Yep.
And so this actually is value. People get it and they're like, damn, that's way cooler than I thought it was going to be. Like, that's the response you want, because what you're doing is you're anchoring your company and your brand in the brain of a new potential customer. So if I can give away 10,000 of these,
it's leading with value.
Right.
Leading with a gift.
Investment turns into how much whenever Mother's Day and Father's Day rolls around, with 10,000 new customers when I get a 50% open rate. Right now, that means there's 5,000 new people, and I have on warm traffic, a 10% conversion rate on email. When they start doing the math, that's 500 people, and my AOV, my average order value, is $80. Do the math. We're there.
Yeah, it goes back to like the laws of influence, right? That's reciprocity. Like, I'm going to give you a gift. So in the back of your mind, there's this customer that you've now acquired with this gift that you give away for free. They're like, oh, I owe this brand something. Like, I need to pay attention when they send me an offer or an email, because they already gave me something. So in the back of that person's mind, there's this little subconscious voice. It's like, oh, when they send me an email or make me an offer, I need to pay attention to it. They won't consciously do it, but they're like, oh man, and it's a great product, and you give it for free. Like, I'm gonna go buy more stuff from this guy.
You can plant a lot of seeds like that, right? Like, that's one.
There's a lot.
Another is in COVID. It was beautiful. We knew, for the most part, people were disconnected, right?
Yeah.
They were disconnected. They were alone. It was weird. So I reached out to colleagues of mine in the baseball world. Pudge Rodriguez went live with me for an hour. Mariano Rivera, a year on his 1-year anniversary of his unanimous induction in the Hall of Fame, went live with me. Pete Rose and I commentated Game 3 of a World Series for like 2.5 hours. We just kept doing content. People were like, "Hey, I can't really afford that. Things are weird right now." It's like, bro, here, look. I'll give it to you for half price. When you get the other half, send it in. Right? Like, the types of things that you can do to create a relationship with a customer, it's so important. I mean, that's the whole LTV, lifetime value of the customer. That's a floating target, because the longer the lifetime, the longer the LTV, right? So it's kind of a weird stat, but like your 12 to 18 month LTV, what is that? And if you can really dial that in and understand what that is, not just like a flash in the pan kind of thing, because acquiring a new customer, if anybody's doing anything online, you see what's happening right now. It's just going through the roof. So the cost of keeping a customer and caring for a customer is significantly less than acquiring a new one. So I think the LTV is something that people overlook a lot. And depending on the brand and the product, EPC is certainly one, or ROAS, return on your ad spend. Cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition of a customer goes right into the LTV conversation. Are you willing to break even on the front side, because you know that over the course of 12 months it's worth 1.8% of what you acquired them for? Things like that. Know your numbers.
100%.
Know your numbers. You get your head.
Know your numbers, and you will. You're gonna lose quick if you don't know your numbers. And I think just being intentional, even around like, all right, so if you know your LTV, like, what is your plan to provide your value to that customer after they bought from you, right? Like, do you need to expand your customer, your product line? Do you need to have conversation? Like, here's what's crazy. Oftentimes, like, I'll have clients and they'll be like, "Hey man, we need to do more products. Like, what should I launch?" And I was like, "Well, have you actually talked to your customers about it?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Pick up the phone. Like, call your top 10 customers, call your top 50 customers, and start talking to them. Ask them how they loved your product. What else? How could you best serve them? I mean, there's so many. Just having a conversation with somebody and showing actual, true care about their experience.
Shut up and listen, because 100%. I had this argument, and I don't want to say an argument, because Randall and I really didn't argue about much. My previous partner. But I was like, dude, what you think doesn't matter.
No.
right? And I think that's something that a lot of people have to learn. What you
For
think
sure.
doesn't matter. Ask
Yep.
better questions,
Yep.
and then shut up and listen and act at that. So one of the biggest things we realized is our primary buying demographic, female between like 35 and 55. So and then it's like, okay, tell me more. And we did a deep dive. There's organizations
Sure.
out there, especially now with AI. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And there's
Amazing
a few
detail.
others. There's a few others I'm familiar with. Anybody wants to reach out, I can pass along to them. But we figured out that the number one word to describe our product is cute.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So now when the ads are going out, it's a 40-year-old lady. Oh my God, this is the cutest idea. Blah 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 blah. And then 83% of the time when we pulled the data, it was 83, is gifted.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say
that's
that
interesting.
was my next question to you. Is like how
It's
many of those are
gifted.
gifts? Yeah.
So then reverse engineer and you optimize again. So when you get your CAC or your CPA, cost per acquisition of a customer, when you get that number, it's your job then to get it better and then better
Yeah,
and then better.
for sure.
And you can't do, remember the old school like science projects? There's constants and there's variables.
Right.
Everybody, you can't change, if you're trying to make the bean plant grow taller, you can only change one thing at a time, because if you change two, you don't know what did it, right? And I
Yep.
think that's a lot of what people are doing. So we're quick to question what's happening, why it's happening, and then make a micro pivot. Didn't work, turn it back on. Micro pivot, turn it
Mhm.
off, turn it on. and
Yep.
and what we realize is that if it's 83% of the time people are buying, well, we stop trying to cram a round peg in a square hole in Q1 and
Mhm.
Q3, because opening day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, that's 1, 2, 3 for us. And
Mhm.
then it goes, we get a little bit early spike. A lot of e-com is Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We get
Yep.
playoffs, which is October and early
October. Yeah.
November. So we get a little spike. Oh, well, not a little spike. We do six figures. Like we kill it
Yeah.
right in there.
Yeah.
And then it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas.
Yeah.
And so each of these seasons, if you will, we focus on a different thing. Like with Christmas, we get very linear with our SKUs, things that we can crank out in 24 to 48 hours, so that we can go deeper into December, because every day is worth 50K, 100K.
Right.
Like, so in this time of year, it's how deep can you go, how narrow can you go, so that you can get more days in. Whereas
Sure.
whereas where playoffs is more, and again, this is a complex example of like how to look at your year, and the cyclical buying of your customers, and understanding and
Yep.
asking better questions. This is the data we got.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then in Q1, when it's dead, well, what do we do in Q1 and Q3, the dog days of summer? Well, okay, well, now there's travel ball, there's fundraising, there's things you can kind of stack in the middle. Right now we have a big focus on corporate gifting. Like our mugs kill it for corporate gifting. We're making it
Yeah.
for Coors and Miller and Hard Rock and Celsius and
Yeah.
Pepsi and Coke. And so corporate gifting is what we focus on in Q1. Corporate gifting, the players aren't playing yet, so their charity golf tournaments, their charity poker tournaments that they're doing,
Mhm.
right? So and then also retail, Dick's Sporting Goods and Rally House and
Sure.
Hallmark and groups like that they also spike in Q2, but they have to buy early so they have it on the
Yeah.
shelf. So now we have this kind of like rush of retail, and then we die in the wholesale world, and then we go hard ecom, and then we come out
Yep.
the other side with this kind of hybrid version, and then we go back into the trenches for the Q4. And I think
There's a
understanding that,
rhythm.
and that all comes from better questions.
Better and understanding the rhythm of your business. I
Yeah,
think we try to force. I was like, no,
I'm
I want
guilty
to
of it.
increase my sales. Yeah, me too. I was like, I want to
Yeah.
force this and force this, but it's actually just going where there's momentum and going where there's demand, instead of trying to force. I mean, that's one of the problems, like, the demand marketers and demand generation. It's like, you can create demand for anything. It's just a function of how much you're willing to spend and how profitable it actually be. Right.
Mhm.
And it's much smarter to kind of step in front of demand than try to create your own. And it's a little bit of back and forth, and you kind of see that in your business when you're running e-com side of it. But yeah, I mean, that's super smart. I think that is, it's a very intelligent and um, I want to say sophisticated, but it's like a lot of times brands aren't thinking in that, with that level of like, um, I guess,
Well, they're thinking
detailed. They're not asking the right
they're
questions.
driving from the seat they're sitting in.
Exactly.
They're not
100%.
driving from the seat that their customer's riding in.
Yeah, that's a great way to frame it. Yep. That's
a different perspective.
100%. And then you layer on the biggest KPIs for you, and that is, are you having fun? Are you, while you're doing that, it's like it's about stack ranking and putting in the right priority of where stuff is.
Oh, man, what is today? Sorted. December 30th. So in the last 10 days, I was golfing with Grant Fuhr, the legendary goalie, right? Ron Harper from the Bulls, Mark Mulder, having drinks with John Smoltz. Then I was at Wade Boggs' Christmas party a couple days later.
That's awesome.
Right. And I mean, what are we doing here? Right. Like this is a beautiful thing. And I mean, if I only made enough money to pay my bills, I'm still a really happy guy. And, when I started reflecting those years ago, 10 or 11 years ago, when I got sick, I realized that, I've said this a million times, that a good day with bad people still a bad day, but a bad day with good people still a good day. Right. Yeah. And I'll gladly stack the good days and load up on these currencies that matter. I focus on the currencies that matter. And not that money doesn't matter. I'm not an idiot, but I'll tell you some of this other stuff. Maybe you can't pay a mortgage with happiness, but buddy, I'll tell you, that's pretty damn important. Happiness and peace and time and family and friends and fun. Like these make the tough days not so tough.
Yeah, really. For sure. And I mean, if you're going to be in business or an entrepreneur at any level, you're going to have tough days.
You're going to get punched. You're going to be bloodied up.
You're going to get bloodied up. So you better have this, to your point, a deep deposit of currency in family and friends and what keeps you motivated and on mission and on purpose. Because you're going to need those. You're going to need those anchors, right? Or you're just going to get dragged away in the chaos. Yeah.
You'll be, and then over time, I feel like you only associate happiness with financial success.
Yeah.
And that's a slippery slope too.
Yeah. Because when you actually achieve it, do you know how many stories there are of guys and ladies who sold their company and already they did it. They reached their goal, man. And then they're like, oh, I'm depressed because now I have nothing to strive for. Like my entire life was my business. And now that it's sold it and I made all this money, I'm aimless and it all the time. So making sure you sort of
somebody asked me the other day, they're like, would you sell this? And I said, yeah, if somebody came along and wanted it more than I did, I would, but here's the reality. I'd certainly ask if I could stay on. Right? Like you need me to stay on for 5 years, no problem. Right? Because
for sure.
If they want it more than I do, and right, like to solidify, the future of secure the future of my kids and my family and all the stuff. And,
for sure.
Dude, I'm not an idiot, right? I would do that, but I would insist on staying on. I'm having that much fun. So what we're doing is we're building it to sell, and then decide if we want to. As it sits right now, I own 92% of the company. Yeah. And that's a good number. I like that number.
Great number.
But I don't even I don't know. The fun, it's really fun. I really love it. I really love what I'm doing.
I love it. I have an important mission. Maybe you can try to execute on. You got to get your boy Will Clark in the hall, man. He's not even in the hall. You gotta use that power. He's got good stats. We gotta gamify that somehow. How can we get Will Clark more reps?
What about Andrew Jones?
For sure. Chipper
for the Braves. Andrew Jones is legit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. Sadly, Pete Rose, man, one of the best hitters ever lived. Now he wasn't he did some things wrong. But I mean, if it's solely based on stats and not a popularity contest or politics of it, but I mean, there's a lot of dudes that belong in the hall that just aren't.
Absolutely. That's good. This is good stuff. All right, let's get close to wrapping this. I got a couple lightning round questions for you. Yeah. So, favorite leader, business person, non-business person that you're learning from right now?
That I'm learning from?
Yeah, that you're just like, I really like this person's approach, their way of thinking. Who are you learning from right now? They're like, this person's like making me think about, ask better questions.
It would be nobody that anybody would know, but that's okay, right? They're really important to me. I would say from a large scale, I really love Elon Musk's mind. What he can envision and bring to life is astounding. I'm very lucky I got into some SpaceX stock sub $100. I think that's going to turn out very well for me and my daughter, my 10-year-old in her IRAs that I've started. So
nice.
Yeah, man. He's incredible. And, Jesse Cole, I really love what Jesse's doing. Yeah. He's very honest and very authentic and very grounded, even though he doesn't have to be at this point. I don't think he chooses to be. So I really admire Jesse a lot. There's athletes that I admire a great deal, like Mariano Rivera, probably one of the greatest I've met.
Love that. Best piece of business advice you ever got?
The best piece of business advice I ever got, it just doesn't matter. It's like in the scheme of things, it's just like, stop making shit matter. That doesn't, at the end of the day, like the whole work-life balance thing.
Yeah.
There's not work-life balance. It's life. You're here. And some days you're working, some days you're not, some days suck, some days don't. Like, what is the old saying? There's two things you should never worry about. It's the shit you can change and shit you can't. Because if you can change it, change it. If you can't, what are we doing? Why are we talking about it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That kind of, and I say it's a practice. Okay. It does not snap your fingers and that's how you are for the rest of your life. I deal with really stupid stuff pretty often. And it's like, it still gets to me a little bit, but then at the end of the day, it's like, bro, does it really even matter? None of us are getting out of here alive.
Yeah, exactly.
What's worse than that? Right.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, you have I have two little kids. I have two girls, right? I have a 3-year-old and an 11-year-old. And at the end of the day, I can close my computer, forget everything, and go play with them and go take them to the park or, do whatever they want to go do. And that,
you got to do it. But you got to do it.
But that's my priority.
Correct. It's got to be.
That's my priority. Like that problem that's bothering me with the rest of the day, that I'm like, okay, this is going to be solved tomorrow. Nothing's going to burn. Nothing's going to, be completely disaster. I can put this down and go really do what I love to do, which is hang out with them and give them an amazing day or an experience or whatever it is that it's going to be like. And that is why, that's why I do what I do. What I do it so they can have, that I can have time, flexibility, and freedom to take them to the park when they're like, "Hey, Dad, can we go to the park today?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's roll." And like, do I need to take this meeting? No, I can bump it. It's cool. Like, because it's like your actual calendar should be reflective of your priorities, right? And so it's like, if I'm not carving and putting out that time to say, "Hey, this is time for my kids," or "This is flexible," or "This meeting I don't need to do right today." It can be tomorrow or it can be next week, even if they want to go do something.
Well, let's talk about calendar for a second, because that's one of the things that, people are like, "Oh, send me your calendar." Like, I'm like, I don't do that. I don't want anybody to have right now. To those who do, whatever you do, you boo. Not what I'm talking about. Nobody controls a minute of my day but me. Yeah, my wife. Yeah, we're being honest.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But like,
for sure.
I don't have a link where you can just go and pick some of my time that you want, because more than likely you're going to be disappointed because something is going to come up. If it's somebody I need to talk to, bro, we're talking now. My plate stays clean so that at any point I can just on the drop of a hat, I can be somewhere, do something. I'm never committed. Rarely am I committed to anything. And when you talk about I was watching Zootopia yesterday afternoon with my kids. People are like, go hard, finish the year strong. I'm like, dude, this is that week between Christmas and New Year that nobody knows what day it is. They don't know. Can I have a glass of wine at 11 a.m. on Monday?
Yeah.
If you want to, right? Like, it's this really funky week. And
Yep.
so like, all right, well, screw it. We're going out to eat and we're going to watch Zootopia. My little one is, because I have an 11 and a 6. My little one's sleeping on my shoulder in the middle of the thing, and the other one's just pounding popcorn. I'm like, hey, we're having a good time, right?
That's a good
Because
time.
of that, it is a good time.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving tomorrow, and we'll be gone through most of Friday. We're going to indoor water park because we're just gonna go.
So where are you based?
I'm in Seattle area. This is a Seahawks hat.
Cool. Oh yeah.
So,
my best friend was from up there, Issaquah.
Oh, nice.
In that area.
Oh yeah. Issaquah is a great little town.
of
Headquarters of Costco right there. Yeah. So
it's cold where you're at. I'm down in Florida, man, and we're in flip flops and shorts outside riding bikes today.
I'm jealous. That's why I'm going to an indoor water park where it's like 75 degrees and humid, and like you can ride and play in the water.
Basically, y'all just took Florida and put it in a bubble.
100%. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. No, that's good.
What awesome, David? Hold on, this is a comment. Let's. How often do I create space for? All the time. It's a hierarchy of importance. If you understand, it comes down to reflection. If you understand what you're best at, like what I'm best at, big conversations, big collaborations, sales, branding, vision. If it's in my world, I will make time for it. And I won't make time for any of the other BS that comes my way, right? Because I'm very clear. All I'm going to do is slow it down or screw it up, right? So like if my team knows, I have a saying in my business: I don't give directions, I give direction. Like, here's where we're going. I'm not going to tell you how to get there, right? And I operate like that, and I manage like that. So they know what I'm good at. And if like, oh, this is this thing, bro, we're doing this. Like, give that to Denner. He'll handle it, right? And so I make myself available all the time, but only for things that I'm going to do and do well.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point of like growth as your spot, your leadership, your giftings, right? Because sometimes people are just like, I'm just going to do everything and try to own it all, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're type A or you just want to solve problems and take everything on. And I think that is super important to basically understand where you're at and where your limits are, and just say no. Just say no, right?
100%.
And find the people that are going to be better than you at the things that you aren't good at, right? Like it's like law of the lid, right?
Teaching it to kids, though, right? So you can appreciate this. You have a daughter the same age as my daughter, and we're on the way to school, and she was, I don't know, she was trying to go singing and didn't have the voice for it, or dancing but didn't know the step, like whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, baby, I said, do you know? Well, the first thing I've really hammered into her: do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Because at that age, I was going to be right. And it's like, you know what? Maybe they don't always walk hand in hand. Like, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I've said it for years, and now it's sticking. And I hear her with her little sister. She's like, are we trying to be right or do you just want to be happy? Right. And then like, let's go do what we're going to do. But we're on our way to school, and she was complaining about something. I said, look, you know why daddy doesn't run track and jump hurdles? Because I'm fat and I'm slow and I got bad knees. We don't do the things we're not built to do, baby. And I was like, well, what you do is the number one thing you can do is find out what you're going to be best at and do the hell out of it.
Yeah. 100%. Now, dude, man, this is awesome. I've really enjoyed our conversation. This has been just killer stuff. So how can people best connect with you, Chris?
Probably LinkedIn, honestly. I stay off the grid. A long time ago, 10 years to be exact, I kind of came to the realization that being famous wasn't. I don't care, right? I always have a good personal brand, but being available for everybody just wasn't part of my plan, man. So, dugoutmugs.com, we got some cool stuff. From a corporate gifting standpoint, it is primo. Probably why we have 60,000 reviews online, but my golf company,
that helps.
Yeah, that's it. I don't have to sell it anymore. People will sell it for me. My golf company, super fun, biggolf.com. We do custom logo golf balls, and we turn golf balls into cigar holders and bottle openers and just fun stuff. And you can find me on LinkedIn, and obviously I'll Dugout and Big Golf on social media. But other than that, all my socials are pretty private. That way I can just lay under the radar.
Love it, love it, love it, man. All right, well, this is good stuff. So thanks for being on the show, and man, we'll have to have you back sometime in the future. This is good.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find a rabbit hole to go down, dude.
For sure, for sure. All right,
All right.
thanks, man.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.